If you're off on holiday, it's time to leave Bananagrams and Monopoly Deal at home and get yourself some modern travel games. In this video, I've got something for families, groups of friends, couples. I've even got the perfect travel game for young kids. And there's no table hogs. If you can't play it on the tiny table of your hotel balcony, it's not a travel game. If you'd like to buy any of the games, there's links below that support the channel. Let's get to the games. This year's hot new travel game is this, Catan on the Road, that manages to take the board game Catan and condense it into a 30-minute card game. And by doing that, they've actually made it better. Like Catan, you're collecting resources like wood and sheep to build roads and cities. You're doing the same things, it's just happening much faster. It should be called Catan on the Autobahn, because every turn, everyone gets a card. Not on your turn, you draw from the deck on everyone's turn. And not just you, everyone. That means when it comes back round to your turn, you've collected 4 cards. You can probably build something. Whereas in old Catan, you'd have many turns where you could do precisely nothing. In On the Road, you're always building, always getting little dopamine hits. It's Catan for the TikTok generation, and they've understood the assignment. If you don't have the cards you need to build something, you can trade with another player, swap your wheat for their sheep, if they're up for it. So you're making deals with each other, trying to convince people to part with their goods. That was always the joy of Catan, and it's all there in On the Road. Everyone is talking, everyone wants to be heard. If you're not trading, you may as well be dying. Especially because you can only trade with one player, so you feel like the belle of the ball, fending off suitors. And it's not for your personality. It's because if they get picked, they get a reward for trading, a free card off the deck, on top of what they already got from you. It's like a government scheme to encourage businesses to work together, and it totally works. Sometimes you don't even care what you're getting in the trade because you're just thinking about the freebie. That card could be the ore you need to build your city, and the thought of someone else getting it is enough to make you offer 2 or 3 cards just to get it. You're all racing to get to 7 points first from building cities and metropolises. You can also get 2 points if you have the most roads or the biggest army until someone overtakes you, which creates this great side race, trying to outdo each other by building more roads. When I was a kid, travel games meant the same game like Scrabble, but with smaller pieces. And they've done that too with Catan Zip, that shrinks down the full Catan experience into a tote bag with a paper board that you draw on. But that's stupid. I don't want to spend 2 hours on holiday playing Catan. To be fair, I don't want to spend 2 hours at home playing Catan. But I do want to play this. It keeps that joy of getting the resources you need, working towards something, and the trading. I love the trading. But it's so much quicker. There's less of a gap between the good bits. There is one potential downside. It only plays 3 or 4 players. But if that's the size of your group, this is a great choice. And it only costs $10. In fact, I know a way you can get it for free by paying for it with free cash, which is what you get from today's sponsor, Free Cash. And if you sign up through my link, you'll get a $10 bonus. That'll pay for your copy of Catan on the Road instantly. Free Cash is an app for iOS and Android that gives you money to play games on your phone. All you have to do is create a free account, check out the Earn tab, pick an offer from loads of different games, and follow the steps. When you start an offer, make sure to enable app tracking. That way, Free Cash can track your progress and reward you properly. As you complete in-game tasks and milestones, you earn real rewards. I've been playing loads of Dice Dreams, which has you rolling dice and attacking other people's castles. I play it after my daughter's gone to bed and I need some downtime. This is what I've made so far, and you can see it going straight into my PayPal account with just a few clicks. Real cash that I can spend on real games that I made from playing games. Make it make sense. And if you don't like PayPal, they've got loads of other payout options like bank transfer or Amazon gift cards. Turn your screen time into a side hustle. Sign up to Free Cash via my link today or scan the QR code on screen to get a $10 bonus on your first offer. And thanks to bonus rewards, you can even get cash back on in-app purchases. And there's a referral code too. Share it with your friends and when they sign up, you'll earn a little extra. Free Cash has a 4.7 rating on Trustpilot with over 290,000 reviews. So you've got nothing to lose and something to gain. Free Cash. Now that Liar's Dice comes in a box this big, with a box that turns into the board, It's the perfect game to play with a group on holiday. You could be by the pool, at the bar, on the beach. If you've got 3 to 6 people, a surface to exist on, and gravity's in effect, you can play Liar's Dice. It's a game of trying to make the right call. Everyone starts with 5 dice in their cup. You shake them up and keep them hidden. Only you know what's under your cup. The challenge is in guessing what's under everyone else's. You take it in turns to make a call. I think there are 4 5s. Not in my cup, but across every cup. You're playing the odds. There are 20 dice in total. You've got 2 5s. There must be 2 more out there, right? The next player can either raise your bid, say 5 5s, or change the number, so 4 6s. Or they can call you out because they think you're wrong. If you get called out, everyone lifts their cups and you count up how many 5s there are. If you were right, they lose a dice for calling you out. But if you were wrong, you lose one. Those dice are your lives. If you lose all 5, you're out of the game. But they're also your eyes. The fewer you have, the less informed your guesses are. So you don't want to lose one, and it's amazing how stressed you get. It's your turn to raise or call them out. 6 4s. Of course there could be 6 4s. It's the most plausible number of 4s that have ever existed. You can't call that out. But you can't outbid it either. 7 4s? That's ridiculous. I can't even imagine there being 7 4s. It's suicide. And the big reveal is always a joy because you never know which way it's going to go. You could have 5 6s under your cup, be so smug about your massive call, and there's not a single other 6. It's not just random chance. The information about what dice were out there was in the other players' bids, in their eyes. It's like playing poker. If you can read the other players, you're laughing. Unless they're good at bluffing, you can use your bids to try and sow bad information. Make an early bid of 4 6s to make everyone think that you've got loads, when actually you've got none. Then when it comes back round to you, and they're getting carried away with 8 6s, you can call them out and win the round. It's like the mean girl telling everyone it's cool to wear jeans to the school disco so she can be the only one in a dress. Liar's Dice is the perfect combination of mind games and bravado. It's your chance to exert dominance over your friends or family. Winning games doesn't matter, but if you win Liar's Dice, you are better than them. Make sure you subscribe, I need more of you around. Bookshelf is like Jenga in a tin. You're stacking up the shelves with books, trying your best not to make it fall over. It's the latest in a strong line of dexterity games that come in a tin, following on from Tinder Blocks and last year's Barbecues. All great travel games. But I'm excited about Bookshelf because unlike those, it's cooperative. And thank Jane Austen because it would be impossible on your own. You see, every turn you have to place a new wobbly shelf made of paper on top. This must be an IKEA bookcase. And on that pathetic shelf, you have to balance your hardbacks, which are so dense because they're made of wood. Okay, fine, so are cards, but you know what I mean. Each shelf tells you which books you need to place and where you have to place some of them. That's what makes the game so hard, having to ignore your natural stacking instincts and make it work in the face of illogical instructions. Okay, we're back on the IKEA analogies then. Thankfully, you can choose between 2 cards each turn. Pick the lesser of 2 evils. Choose the one that isn't going to make everything immediately collapse. It's like you're voting in an election. If your bookshelf is on the verge of toppling, it's not a good time to pile on 2 pink chunguses, or chungai. What makes it so cooperative is the only way to balance out putting this baby in the corner is to put the other one opposite. That's where your teammate comes in, because you can and should put them down in unison. A team of synchronized stackers, releasing your payload timed with the key change of a power ballad. But that's not the hardest bit. No, it's the bloody cat. Once the shelf is secured, you have to carefully retrieve the cat from the last shelf and move it to the new one, putting her in deep enough to not tip over your shelf, but not so deep that you can't get her out next time. This game takes up so little space, you could play it on that little table between 2 sunbeds. As long as it's not too windy. We call that hard mode. For something a bit different, I'd recommend K3, a puzzly strategy game where you're adding blocks to this mountain, trying to stay alive the longest. And this one is nothing but some wooden pieces and a drawstring bag. So even if your plane crashes into the ocean, at least you'll have a game to keep you busy until you find the hatch. On the surface, it's so simple. You start with the base of the mountain in the middle and you take it in turns to place a block on top. When you place, you have to match one of the colors below. So on blue and red, I have to place a blue or a red. Why that's tricky is because the blocks you can place come from your pyramid, and you can only take them from the top. So at the start, you only have one block you can place, then you've got a choice of two, and slowly you make more blocks available. And that's part of your strategy. It's not just about what you place and where, but what you're freeing up. Will you be able to play that color? It's useless unveiling a green if there's no green spaces on the mountain, because if you can't play on your turn, you're out of the game. So planning ahead is everything. It's survival. The last one standing wins the game. And the strategy starts even earlier because you build your pyramid at the start of the game. You decide the order in which your blocks will be available. You look at the base, you can see there's a lot of red, so you put a red at the top knowing it will be easy to place. Or do you? If there's only one green in the middle, you need to play that one early to keep that color alive because you've got 4 of them. If someone blocks off green, you'll have nowhere to place any of them. That's what I love about K3. It's an interactive game. You're trying to make life hard for your opponents, blocking off a color that they've got coming up, trying to squeeze them out of the game. And the simplicity of the gameplay frees up your mind to think strategically. You can see what blocks they have available and where they can put them. So where does that leave you next turn? It's really satisfying thinking it through and exciting when your scheme pays off. If you force the next player to play on top of 2 blocks of the same color, you get to steal one of their blocks to play on a future turn. In essence, you're taking a life. They've now got 5% less oxygen than you to last on this mountain. If all else is equal, they're dying first. That's why I make friends with smokers. If you're lucky, you'll steal one of these wood-colored blocks because you can play them on top of anything. So often the mountain can only take one color and you don't have it. So these wild blocks are your lifeline, the bottle of piss you collected earlier. I really like how this game evolves. The mountain can become inhospitable fast, and you really feel like you're just clinging on, doing what you need to stay alive for one more turn, hoping the others perish first. K3 is great for couples or a family of 3 or 4. Forget Brat Summer, 2026 is done up summer. It just came out, it's everywhere, and it's the perfect card game to take on holiday. In Done Up, you're trying to get rid of your cards. Think Uno. Then stop thinking of it, because you're better than that. It means you can play with anyone because everyone gets that idea. It's been around for 100 years. But Done Up brings it into the modern era by adding more strategy. You see, every card has 2 numbers on it, and your cards can rotate. Up, down, up, done up. To get rid of your cards, you play sets of the same number, but if someone beats your set, it comes back into your hand, downside up. You've been done upped. It sounds like something to be ashamed of, but it's often an upgrade. Those numbers have changed, got better. Now they might combine with other cards in your hand to make even bigger sets. And that's what makes this game great. You're not just playing cards to get rid of them, you're playing them hoping for them to be done up to make your hand stronger. You need a strong hand so you can beat the other player's set. So you force their cards back into their hand, keeping them in the game. Because as soon as someone is out of cards, they win the round and get a point. So strategizing, building your hand by rotating the right cards is so important. And when it all comes together, it feels like you masterminded your victory, which you can't ever say after a game of Uno. Where so many classic card games feel like they play themselves, Done Up gives you agency. To learn more about what makes it the best card game that I've played in years, check out my full review of it, link below. If you're going on holiday with your partner, I'm thinking Pinchos in San Sebastian, wine tasting in Paris. I'm thinking I might come with you. You need some classy games to match your surroundings, something that can fit alongside your charcuterie board and won't look out of place on a rustic barrel or an aggressively small table. I found these 2-player abstract games from Steffenspieler to fit the bill. There's a whole line of them, but I've been really enjoying Nanaga and Ringo. In Nanaga, you win by getting all 3 of your pieces together, touching each other, and your opponent is trying to do the same thing first. Every turn you move one of your pieces in a straight line in any direction. The trickiness of moving is that you can't choose where you stop. You have to go all the way until you hit the end of the board or another piece. The second thing you do each turn is change the shape of the board. Remove a disc from the edge and put it somewhere else. So you could remove this disc so your opponent can't move in that direction anymore, putting it over here to give yourself more room to move. But having room to move isn't always a good thing. You want to shorten your lines, take away this disc so that when you move in that direction, you won't go as far, because it's easier to reunite your family if all your pieces are in the middle of the board, and easier to block your opponent. I love that by asking you to change the board, the game is forcing you to strategize, to make a decision that will affect you later, and how easy it is to visualize so you can understand the game and feel good at it in your first play. Ringo is like a modern take on Connect 4, where the board is growing and shifting. You're trying to get 4 of your colored pieces in a line, either rings or discs. On your turn, you add a disc by placing it in a ring, so you can only add where there is a ring. Then you move that ring to a new spot, so you're opening up a new place for a disc to go. So you want to put it somewhere to add to your row. The trouble is, your opponent can now go there and block you, because you can place your disc in any of the rings. Like Connect 4, you're building potential, trying to get something going vertically and horizontally and diagonally, so that while they're busy trying to block you on one axis, you can win on another. And you've got to stay hyper alert, not be so consumed by your own plans that you don't let them win with a line that you've not even noticed. It's one that I've played loads, but I still haven't quite worked out what my strategy is. But I'm enjoying going back and seeing how it turns out this time. If you like the idea of playing an abstract game with your partner, but you're not looking for something too intense, then Ringo and Nanaga are just the ticket. You can pick up and play them in seconds. They get you thinking, but they won't tie your brain in knots, and they make you want to keep playing them. And for everyone else, there's this quirky game from a while back called chess. If you want something fast and fun with less rules and more action, and you like messing with each other, then Collect is the game for you. It couldn't be simpler. On your turn, you pick the top card from either deck and add it to your row. You're collecting animals, and you're trying to get 4 of the same animal to win the game. If you don't want that card, you can put it back and take a second card, but that one you're stuck with. The first card is boring. It's so utterly known. It's plain toast, ready salted crisp. You know what you're gonna get, and what you're gonna get is bored. The second card is full of endless possibility. It could be anything. Well, it could be any of the 7 cards in the game. The animals aren't just for collecting. When you take them, they give you powers. That's how you mess with things. The monkey lets you steal a card that you need from someone else. So when you take that first card, it might not be the animal you need to win the game, but it might help you get there. The crab lets you move a card in your row, because to win, those 4 of the same animal have to be next to each other. Or they might help you pivot. If you collect a lion or an octopus, they give you a different way that you can win the game. For the lion, you need 1 of each animal to win, and for the octopus, you need 3 pairs of animals. It's really easy to win. It can happen in a few turns, so it always feels in your grasp, and in the grasp of your opponent, so it's on you to hold them back. Take the crocodile card this turn, not because it helps you, but because it eats one of their cards and stops them from winning. Not everyone will enjoy that kind of spikiness, but if your group likes exploding kittens, it has that same joy of sabotaging each other. But for me, it's a much more interesting game. There's plenty of luck and chaos, but it's fun trying to use your powers to ride that chaos. Like with my favorite card, the parrot, when you play it, you name another animal that you think is on top of the deck. You flip it, and if you're right, you get that animal for free. Remember how on your turn you can look at a card and put it back? Well, if you're paying attention, you'll remember what card is there. So you've got to pay attention on everyone's turn, because it could help you later. And 6 turns later, when you remember a card that got buried, it's a pretty amazing feeling. Those are the kind of moments that this game creates. It has that kind of luck that's entertaining, that lets you pull off an epic comeback. Don't expect strategy, but do expect fun. If you're going on holiday with a big group and you don't know who you're going to be playing with from one day to the next, you need something flexible. And Dice Pool Party plays 2 to 8 players and will work for the whole family. In fact, let's play it right now. Shake up the box, open it up, and count to 3. 1, 2, 3. You're done. Now, what do you want to score? The blues? The yellows? All the 5s? Tick that off on your sheet, then we open it back up and see what you got. If you'd said 6s, you would have got 24 points because you add up every 6 in the box. If you'd said purples, you would have got 12 points, which sounds worse, but that's the maximum purples can get. And here's the catch, you can only score each category once. Once you've done all of them, that's the game. So you're desperate to get each one on their best day. You want Liam Neeson in Schindler's List, not Liam Neeson in Battleship. So if you score the 6s now at 24, you're settling forever. That's all you'll get out of a really lucrative category. That's like cashing in on Liam Neeson in Love Actually because you don't think he's capable of a Schindler's List today. So you decide to score something else instead. But wait, what else was there? You had 3 seconds to look, and you were so focused on the 6s that you can't remember anything else. It's such a silly little game, but it's such a fresh challenge. It's like you're passing an exam to be a lifeguard. Did you spot the pink dice that were drowning? Or were you too busy ogling the greens? You end up coming up with your own technique, your pre-match ritual to psych yourself up each round. I'm going to focus on blues, 5s, and pairs. Blues, 5s, and pairs. I can at least manage that, you tell yourself. 3 seconds later, you find out that was a lie. But what about if you focus on blues, 5s, and pairs, and they were all rubbish this round? What do you do then, apart from openly weep? The main event is the pool party, the sum of all of the dice. This is like your one chance to work with Tom Cruise. It's always going to do numbers, but is it Mission Impossible numbers or is it Eyes Wide Shut numbers? Time it right and you could get 20 points more than anyone else from it. The footprint of this one is so small you could play it on your aeroplane tray table, on your sun lounger, or if you're that kind of traveller, on top of some information board explaining why these ancient toilets are really important. If you've got young kids, then let me tell you about 2 little card games which my daughter has completely fallen in love with. We've been playing these anytime we go to a restaurant, so she doesn't keep asking the waiters, "Where's my fries?" These will work from 2.5 years old until they're 6, and that's when you can start introducing them to what we call real games. But don't tell them that. Her favourite is Suspecto, which is a beautifully simple deduction game. You have to follow the clues to eliminate the suspects until you find the culprit. You pick a case and put it in the wallet so they can't flip it over and see the answer by accident. In the window, there are 3 things you're looking for, like a hat, glasses, and someone who's winking. Only one suspect will have all of those 3 things, so you have to scan them all to find the right person. Some of the things, like earrings, are tiny, so it really tests their observation. And it's been so exciting for me watching my daughter get better at it. Having that little win every time she finds the right one means it never gets boring for her. When you find it, you flip that card over, and that tells you what you're looking for next. It makes the game flow really nicely, and it's so easy for them to follow. I feel like she could almost play the game without me.
2 eyes open and dress and shirt, Daddy.
Okay, who's wearing a shirt?
This one?
And do they have 2 eyes open?
Yeah.
And are they wearing a skirt?
Yeah. No, I call it a dress, really.
Okay, are they wearing that?
Yeah.
Okay, turn it over. This is definitely one of those kids' games where you watch your kid enjoying it. You're not really involved, but it feels like it's teaching her things that most other games for toddlers aren't. And she's having such a good time that I'm having a great time watching her. Once you're left with one person, you take the case card out of the wallet, and if it matches, you've won the game. It's a great payoff. You really see the reward on their face when it's the same card. You don't even get that when you play Outfoxed, although we do love playing Outfoxed. We're not taking that on holiday. The other game, Trupo, is a great introduction to pushing your luck. Think of it as my first Flip 7. And this is one parents can join in on too. You're trying to collect the most farm animals without going bust. On your turn, you flip a card from the middle, placing it above your farm. If you want, you can stop there, take your 1 pig and put it safely in your farm. Or you can keep going to try and get a sheep or an alpaca, adding it to your winnings. Some of the cards have 2 sheep or 2 alpacas, which is even better, but there's only 3 types of animal, and if you draw the same type again, you go bust, and all the animals run away. It's the classic push your luck dilemma, but distilled down to a format that kids can understand, and it works perfectly. The animals run back to the middle face up, so the next player can take them knowing they won't go bust, but only as their second pick. Once all the cards are taken, you line yours up and your kid gets some good counting practice, counting out their animals. What did you get?
Sheep.
Wow.
Sheep.
So can you put it next to the pig?
Yeah.
Both these games feel like they're teaching my daughter new things. If you've played toddler games, you know that 90% of them are just matching symbols. So it's so exciting to share new types of gaming experience with her. And these feel so much closer to a normal game. I'd recommend them to anyone who's trying to get their young kids into games. And it's just a bonus that they're small enough to take anywhere. Those are my travel game picks for 2026. If you want to buy any of them, there are links below. And if you're looking for more great travel game recommendations, then check out my video from last year, because there's some really great games in there. If you want to support me making more videos, then please become a patron at patreon.com/actuallol, and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. I'm John Perkis. Thanks for watching. And remember, sign up to Free Cash via my link today. Earn money from playing games on your phone and get a free $10 bonus by using the link below.